Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is Dean D'Angelo with Green Building Education Services. I want to welcome all our friends and our new attendees to our The Future of Green Building series. We've got a really great webinar for you today. It's just a couple minutes prior to 1, our start time, and I wanted to allow some people to keep filing in. We're going to have a really great crowd. So I'm going to turn off the camera. We're going to hang tight for another couple minutes and then get started. Thank you. All right, we're going to get started. I'm really excited about our webinar today. We've got some great information for everyone. Looks like people are still filing in. Don't worry, come join us. If you missed the first couple of minutes, there's going to be a replay sent out to everyone who's registered. We'll take good care of you. My name is Dean D'Angelo with Green Building Education Services. A lot of you on here probably have seen me on our online training courses and some of our study calls and other webinars that we do throughout the month. I want to thank everyone for coming back. We have some amazing guests today. Part of that, the Future of Green Building series that we've been doing over the last several months. We brought you the VIM webinar a couple weeks ago, virtual information models, the Candida building, the living building on Georgia Tech's campus, and a bunch of really great stuff, trying to kind of inform our clients and customers on, what we see as the hot, the exciting, the trends that are coming in our industry. So thank you so much for joining us. If we have any technical difficulties, please hang with us. If we lose you, if internet, millions of people are using GoToWebinar nowadays, and if anything goes awry, please hang with us, try to log back in, but don't worry, we will get you all the information you need moving forward. So I'm going to try and put up a quick poll for everyone, and so please let me know. All right. Is losing visibility and control of your files a concern day to day? So please go ahead. You got 3 options there: always, sometimes, rarely. All right. Go ahead and thank you, Val. Appreciate that. You chose sometimes. Go ahead and click. If you're on the poll, go ahead and click the circle, highlight the circle, so we can add your answer to the list. We try to get as many people voted here in the next 10 seconds. We'll let it go for about a minute. I want to respect everybody's time. All right, excellent. All right, about 75% of you voted. Looks like, wow, almost 60% of you said sometimes, and 25% of you said always. Only a small percentage of you said rarely. That's excellent. Well, thank you for that input. Let me see if I can reshare my screen. All right, well, I'm going to close my camera here so we don't have any undue technical difficulties. And I would like to introduce everyone to our esteemed guest today, Chloe Cattell, CEO of Polyport, and her colleague, Partha Ray, Chief Technology Officer. I'm gonna hand it over to Chloe here. She's gonna share some slides. Before she gets started, I really would like to encourage people in the chat box, right down there at the bottom of that GoToWebinar menu that we have. I'd like you to type in some questions for Chloe and Partha. They're here, they're industry experts, and you know, they're here for us to kind of teach all of the architects and engineers and contractors that GBS does work with throughout the world. They're here to kind of level us up. So we really appreciate their time. And I'm going to turn that over. Chloe, thank you guys for being with us. We really appreciate it. Chloe, please let me know if you've got control of the screen there.
I do. Are you able to see that okay, Dean?
Yes, looks really good.
Perfect, thank you. Well, once again, Dean, thank you for the introduction, and hello, everyone. As Dean mentioned, my name is Chloe Cattell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Polyport, and here with me today is my co-founder and our CTO, Partha Ray. And we're really excited to be here today to speak with you all about collaborating remotely with peace of mind. We are Polyport. We are the content security platform specifically designed for the creative industry. And so, as you all know, digital content is what drives your business. And in order for you guys to operate as a business, you have to be able to share this content with a variety of different external stakeholders, whether that be general contractors, subcontractors, clients, MEP engineers, you name it, your content has to travel to a myriad of places and has to be accessed by a myriad of people. And this is content that you guys have spent hundreds of man hours creating, which is what makes it very valuable. And so sharing this content puts it at significant risk at every point in the process. So what are you supposed to do? Well, you try to be more secure, you try to keep your content production in-house in a walled garden approach, but of course, due to the current market dynamics, that's not very feasible anymore. You handcuff hard drives to transfer content, and then you require your designers to sign in to VPNs and log in through virtual machines, which at the end of the day makes your IT teams and your designers want to bang their heads against the wall because of the fact that they're losing connection, they're dealing with spinning wheels of death just to get a Revit model to load. And even if these solutions were to work perfectly, they're still missing the most important part, and that is protecting the content that you're creating while it's in use. That means that when you send someone a Revit model or a Navisworks model, and they access that content and they make edits to it, that all of those edits are not protected. And so you're relegated to dealing with sending someone a file and wondering, hey, what's the client doing with my file? What's the subcontractor doing with my file? Are they sharing it with a competitor? You have absolutely no idea. So Partha, if you could touch a bit more on cloud storage solutions and how Polyport folds into the fray there, please.
Sure. Hey, this is Partha. So no matter how much money you spend on your security system or how sophisticated it is, at the end of the day, you have to have a level of trust with who you're sharing your files, because they're going to take possession of the file. And once they have it on their local machine, they pretty much have unfettered control over it. They can distribute it. They can do whatever they want. You're out of the visibility circle there. And so that's one of the biggest problems with solutions that are out right now is you lose that control and you still have to have that level of trust. Chloe, can you go to the next one? Yeah. So with Polyport though, that's why we invented Polyport, is to solve for that. We want to give you full control and visibility over your assets wherever they travel for their entire life cycle. So this even means, like, if I were to send a file to Chloe, have her do some work on it, I will see that she's working on the file. And not only that, if she creates new data from my file, I can also control that data, even though it may only exist on her local machine. So with Polyport, you have full control and visibility, which we'll show you in this demonstration coming up.
Awesome, thanks, Partha. So Partha went from doom and gloom to the bright side, but where you really want to be as a business is that you want to enable, you want to share your content with your subcontractors, with your clients, with trust and complete visibility and control. You want to be able to share that content and allow them to collaborate on it, to have unfettered access, but still maintain that visibility and control. And as Partha mentioned, that's why we designed Polyport. We've been victims of theft ourselves in the creative industry. We understand how important collaboration is to innovation, and also understand that you want to ensure that your content is protected because you should get credit for your hard work. And so we've designed Polyport as a file-agnostic system, an application-agnostic piece of software, and one that is transparent to your workflows. With Polyport, every single copy, paste, export, save as is protected, and you're able to remove access to content in real time. And so what we're going to show you in this demonstration is just one example of a workflow going from a protected Revit model into 3D Studio Max to a rendered image. But we want you guys to use your imagination when you see this demonstration, because whatever your workflow is, Polyport is flexible and can work and protect that content. So Dean, I'm going to stop sharing here and give you presenter view back.
Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. So we're going to go right into that that video that you were talking about, but we're really getting some great questions in here, and I've kind of seen a couple come through, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Chloe, who typically controls the data on your platform that we're talking about? Is that how does that work?
Yeah, so that's really going to be up to, let's say if the architecture firm is the one that's sharing out the content, because we've spoken with a lot of architecture firms, and they're typically the ones that are most concerned about sharing, let's say, Revit content, for example. The admin on the Polyport side could be, a principal at the firm, it could be the studio owner, it could be the director of architecture. It's really up to the firm as to who they want to protect that content. There's also sub-admin privileges that we have, which you're going to see a basic demonstration in the video recording, but it's very flexible, and we've designed that so that we're not hindering your workflows.
One thing to add to that, so we're not actually storing your files. That's up to you, how you guys move your files around and your data around. We are orchestrating the permissions and control over it. So that might be evident in the video coming up.
That's excellent. Yeah, one of my questions, what I really can't wait to see is how you how that control is given, and how that the administrator can actually remove files that from someone who loses access from a remote machine, is from a third-party machine. So I'm really excited to see the video. We've got a lot of really great questions that I'll get to, but I just wanted to share something that you reminded me, Chloe, when we were talking about Revit, that I heard the other day. 80% of all projects over $5 million in value are drawn on Revit.
Wow, that's a piece of information I had not heard as of yet. So thank you for sharing that with me.
There you go. Just make sure you reference Dean at GBS when you put that on. That way, just in case it was wrong, I'll get the blame for it too. So no, but I found that interesting. I want to try to put up another poll here for everyone to take a look at. Because I'm curious, who's protecting your digital content? I'm not who, but who of you out there are protecting your digital content? Are you or are you not? So we'll give about a minute for everyone to submit their vote. This is great. We got a lot of, we're 50-50 right now at about 45 seconds in. About 60% of you have voted so far. I don't know, Chloe, if you thought that I don't know what you thought those percentages might be, but looks like about 70% of the people voted, 52% yes, 48% no. Interesting. That's
It's very
wonderful.
interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the video. Everyone, bear with me now.
While you're loading that, I just want to say one thing. In this video, in order to show you the aggregate of both sides, the admin side and the user side, you're going to see it all on one machine, but it's the same effective thing as if you were the admin on one machine and the person doing the work is on a different machine. So maybe that was more confusing than I needed it to be, but
that's all right. Maybe you can address that after the video is done too, if you feel you need to.
Sure.
I've got it queued up here. I'm going to press play. You guys let me know if it's coming through. Those of you out that are listening in, please let me know if it's queued up and you're hearing it and seeing it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the live Polyport demo. First thing we're going to do is start off by getting logged into the Polyport platform. Once I hit login, the first thing we're going to do is create a project. So we're going to name this project, and a project is what's going to contain our assets and let us orchestrate permissions over a specific group of assets. So once we've created our project here, the next thing to do is to create the team that'll be involved. So what I'm going to do here is add myself to the team so I can show you how the permission sets work on a file that is remote or located anywhere in the world. Also, you can invite people that are not part of your team via the global menu, and if you type their email address in properly, you'll see them appear. Now, next thing to do is to add some assets. So we have a folder with an asset here. It's an unprotected asset, and we're going to simply drag and drop it, and then we're going to make sure that we pick our output location. This is important because this is where the protected asset's going to lie when we're done, and that's the one we're going to want to circulate to have work done on it. So just to show you, it's empty folder here, and I'm going to hit OK. And when this is done processing, my protected file pops up in the window on the left, and this also appeared in my library. So now we're going to divvy some permissions to it. So I'm going to give myself create permissions, which allows me to work on the asset unfettered, as well as create new assets from the existing protected asset. Now I switched the activity log so you can see live telemetry, and I'm going to go ahead and launch this Revit asset. So while Revit loads, on the right-hand side, you're going to start to see telemetry. This is telemetry telling us what's happening with our protected file. So the top item that you see on the right says that we were granted access and that it is opening in Revit. This will be the same case with anybody anywhere in the world that's using one of your protected assets. So once this loads, we're going to do a little work. We're going to take some of these trees, just to keep it simple, and delete them. So I'll take this one here, get rid of that guy, and the large one as well. And once I delete this tree, I'm going to go ahead and export it to an FBX file with the intent of loading the FBX file into 3D Studio Max. So I'll point it to the folder where I have my protected assets just to keep it organized. And I'll go ahead and name the file. And on the right-hand side, you'll notice that telemetry says that it automatically is going to protect that FBX file that I just exported. So it's protecting a derivative asset. Bear with Revit while it does its thing. Okay, so now that asset and the activity listing has appeared and says that it automatically protected that FBX file, that it was created in Revit and it is a derivative of my original file. So now we're going to go ahead and close Revit out, and we're going to launch 3D Studio Max. And our intent will be to load this drawing and export out a still frame JPEG from it. So if you'll notice on the right-hand side, the telemetry is indicating that our FBX was loaded into 3D Max and is being accessed by 3D Max. So that's showing you that our derivative asset is still under full protection. Now, once this drawing loads into 3D Max, we'll do what I mentioned and export out a JPEG. So we're going to select this bottom right quadrant view of the perspective. And then we're going to go ahead and render it out. So we'll choose our parameters, and for simplicity's sake, we'll do a scan line. Choose our file name here, and of course put it in the same folder to keep it organized. And we'll render it as a JPEG. And if you'll notice, once it's rendered, it will automatically be added to our library on the right-hand side. So you see the telemetry of the JPEG, which means it is also under automatic protection and can be tracked and controlled throughout its entire life cycle. One other thing to note is that we do have messaging to inform the user what's going on with an asset. This goes to the Windows messaging bus. As you can see here, I had it suppressed, but it lets you know when you're entering and exiting a protected session, whether it be 3D Max or Revit.
Wow, that was fascinating. Fascinating.
Thanks, Dean.
Yeah. I do want to say really quick before we keep going, there are one or two of you that messaged me during the video that were having audio problems. So sorry for that. Don't know why. Seems like most everyone got it and heard it. But to those of you who missed the audio on that, we're going to be sending out the replay probably tomorrow. The audio will be on there, and you'll be able to just, you can watch the whole webinar again, or you can just go straight to that scene right there. So thanks for hanging with us on that. So, all right, Partha, so can you kind of give us, you know, those of us like maybe that junior architect that's out there, or the professional that's kind of gathering information and learning about that, kind of what we just saw in layman's terms?
Sure. So one thing I didn't show you was that with the quickness that I gave permissions to that person, I can take it away. So that JPEG, the thing I exported, all those files, I can quickly, with one click, remove permissions. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're protecting your file, we're encrypting it, and it's encrypted wherever it travels. And when it gets to your machine, it calls home and it says, hey, I'm on this person's machine. This is where I'm at. This is what time of day it is. This is the machine name. Am I allowed to open? And if it's allowed to open, then it seamlessly just loads into the memory for the program. And then of course, Polyport is there to watch data coming out of that program. That's how it protects the new stuff. I don't know if that was in layman's terms, but that's kind of the best I could do.
No, that's great. That's great. I'm sure they all they understood it much better than I did. But to follow up on that, on the protected asset, we've got a really great question that just came in, and I think it might be referencing backup or security measures. But Tanisha asked, what if someone decides to delete everything within an asset?
Sure. So a couple things. Your original file it's still with you, of course, right? Now, if somebody gets that share file and decides to delete everything out of it and then save it back to the file, because that file resides on their local machine, it will alter that copy, but you will still have the original. If you're referring to like a shared Revit model, that's a little bit more of a detailed discussion, but we have faculties to handle that to make sure that you can go back to your original and also that these actions will be tracked.
Excellent. So Partha, when the Polyport platform, I mean, who are some of your best users, some of the clients that are getting the most success out of this and the most enjoying the benefits and features of your platform?
Sure, I'll hand that one to Chloe, actually.
Thanks, Partha. So, Dean, we are a couple weeks out from our launch right now, so just wanted to say that as we've been working with a handful of customers through a beta program. But, you know, we've got a couple of architecture firms where architects are and principals are protecting Revit models that they may be sharing with clients to do review on. We are in discussions with a variety of different subcontractor engineering firms who are really tired of dealing with the inefficiencies that go along with trying to even get access to content because of the security concerns. And so it runs a gamut of, hey, we've got, you know, different architecture firms that really want to share content for collaboration aspects, whether it is from, you know, sharing it with the general contractor to an engineering firm. And then on the opposite side of it, you've got engineering firms that are also creating their own Revit content and all of these libraries of Revit families and things that they've spent so many man hours creating that they want to ensure that that's protected, whether it's from, you know, working remotely, their employees are working from home, and you may have, you know, hackers that could get into your system, or honest mistakes because someone put something in the wrong Dropbox folder, which happens more often than you would believe, all the way to general contractors that want to ensure that they can utilize Polyport as a selling point to their clients because they're saying, hey, our content, your content is protected and you're able to see what's happening with it. And so we take, you know, security seriously, and we take intellectual property protection seriously. Right.
No, that's wonderful, Chloe, because, you know, being in the construction industry for most of my adult life, we do tend to lag behind in technology, it seems, in a lot of areas. And it's that transparency, that connectivity and communication on a project that always seem to be difficult between stakeholder and architect, or stakeholder and architect and contractor, and whatever that ended up being. It was the communication often, or lack of, often in security, caused more problems and delays than you thought it should. So this is wonderful. We've got a bunch more questions coming in. I want to put up one more poll here in a little while to pick our customers and our clients' brain, just to see what they're thinking. But during your kind of development process or creation, and does anything jump out at you like that you hadn't identified earlier, and you got some feedback from clients on, oh, we could really do this, and this with it, and you kind of pivoted a little bit in your development? Do you have any of those stories?
So I can tell you one thing. It's interesting how we architected our software, because the way we did it is to make it the least burdensome and the most flexible. And so as far as pivoting technology-wise, the root technology has not changed, the approach hasn't changed. But with the flexibility, when clients come up and say, hey, we could do this with that, typically our software can facilitate that because of the way it's designed to be flexible and transparent.
And one other thing to add to that, I mean, so what we showed in this demonstration is really the core feature set. You know, the activity log is a basic activity log, but we're gathering so much information in the background, and we have ideas about, you know, how would you want to flesh out analytics? How would you guys like to see threat notifications? And so even just in conversations that we've had with potential customers, we're already gathering a ton of information like, hey, it'd be cool if, you know, I could see this on a geolocation map. And so there's a lot of room to grow, which is really exciting to start gathering that feedback.
Yeah, and I can see kind of in a situation where you have a client of yours that's using this, and there's maybe a very sensitive project, a high priority project they're working on, and there's maybe some turnover, or they lose a key employee on that project. This is a matter of security, right? I mean, you don't want information falling into competitors' hands, or going with that employee to somewhere it shouldn't. Can you talk about those kind of security measures that you have in place with Polyport?
Sure. You know, you said a key phrase there, that you don't want your data to fall into the wrong hands. And with Polyport, there is no falling into anyone's hands because you as the orchestrator have control forever. And so if somebody gets terminated, leaves the project, and especially with everybody working from home, all you do is flick the switch and that data on their computer doesn't work anymore. So you've essentially recalled it because the data won't launch, it stays encrypted, that user is not authorized anymore, and it allows you to gain that control over your data and make it so that data is not falling into people's hands. You're letting them have it for a second, and then you can take it back whenever.
Oh, wow. Amazing. All right. We had a lot of great questions here. I've been able to answer some of them on my own in private messages, but let's go ahead and launch this third poll and see. All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Having gone through the webinar, do you see how Polyport can help your firm? That'd be great. Let us know. We'd love some feedback. Do you see real world application for your firm and the business that you guys are doing? You know, our friends here, Partha and Chloe, I love it. I think this is an amazing technology, and I would love to hear what you guys say out there. All right, wow, 80% yes. Excellent. I'm telling you, the GBS crowd, they're an intelligent group, man. They are on top of their game. Excellent. That number is only going up. So wonderful. Well, thank you guys for your input. I really appreciate that. I don't know if this is a technical question, Partha, or but I've got one here. Can two separate Polyport accounts create one account? Say if an architectural firm decides to share a Revit asset in collaboration with a structural firm who will upload their own families as an asset, are both firms' assets protected separately?
So every asset is protected individually. But if you're going to have, this is what I imagine from the question, is that you're going to have a project with two firms working on it, and that each firm may have unique data to put into the project and protect. So you can set it up so that both firms have that visibility, that admin construct. So when they log in, they'll see the same project, they'll see the assets, and they can control them together. They can also see when people are adding new assets from either side. However, every asset, again, is protected individually. And so if you give somebody the admin privileges, no matter where they are or what company they're in, they will be able to control the access to the files, but every file gets its own key.
Okay, and that also plays into the traceability part of it too, right?
Absolutely, chain of custody is everything. So you know, just having that story of where your assets have been is pretty powerful.
Excellent. Another really great question coming in: are the permissions user specific or machine specific? For example, if I start working on a project on one PC, move to another, do I have permission to access files, or does something have to be reestablished?
Yeah, so right now they are user specific. So any machine you log into as your user, you'll have that same privilege set. But you do bring up an interesting point about machine locking. These are things that we are discussing, and of course, in tandem with customer feedback. The capacity will be there to lock it to a machine if you want to, but right now it's user specific.
So that'll be a client option that you give?
It's a very possible thing. If our clients are requesting that they want to lock a user to a specific machine, since we have that telemetry, we can check the machine ID. It's not something we've implemented yet because we need to get the feedback and enough demand for it in order to do that.
Of course, of course. Would you be willing to share any of those other features that you guys are considering? I mean, you know, stuff that you've been learning from your clients. I mean, maybe just as a teaser for our GBS group.
Certainly. So there are several things that are in the works. Of course, Chloe mentioned more enhanced analytics, and that'll be based on customer feedback there. But we've also gotten a lot of requests to protect all other kinds of documents, like my PDFs, my Word docs. Like I want to protect everything involved with my project. And my answer my answer to that is, so we're tackling the harder problem first, which is the complex 3D software. So when it's time for us to say, hey, we support PDFs or we support, X, Y, and Z, it's going to be an easier and quicker process. So, but the goal will obviously be to support our clients' needs throughout their project. But right now we're doing the 3D stuff first.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, it has me thinking, can you protect job site photos and maybe video history of projects? I mean, not even from the design phase. I mean, I know a lot of what we're talking about here is Revit and design, but then what happens when you go on down the chain and into production? And so maybe, I don't know. I always like to think outside the box, think a little bit further along, but I'm sure you guys are maybe even thought about that yourselves.
Yeah, we play well with video. That's a certainty. And you have the right picture. I mean, anything that's involved with your work product throughout your job lifecycle, that's what we want to help you protect, so that we can enhance your capabilities, so that instead of having your hands tied and having to go through 10 hoops to try to get a project done, you can just do it unfettered, send your data to who it needs to go to, keep track of it, and control it the whole time.
Wonderful.
And Dean, most importantly, we want to make security simple and we want to make security fun. I know that the words security and efficiency normally are not involved in the same sentence, but for us at Polyport, the most important thing is that we handle the security and we let you as creatives focus on what matters most, and that's creating.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Everyone, if you could make it easy, simple, and a little bit engaging and fun for it, it always goes a long way. And especially with this group, we were all working hard before, but it seems like that's been ratcheted up a notch, and everyone's doing everything they can out there. So, all right. Well, I think we've gotten through a lot of great questions. I know we have one slide after this, Chloe. I know we have an email going out to the group who registered because they're GBS clients and customers, and because of our partnership, I think you're offering a little something to the group. I won't spoil it if you don't want me to say it. If you want me to leave it for the video that's going out tomorrow, or the email, I'll do that. But I'll leave it. I'll give you guys kind of the last word here before we sign off. And we really appreciate your time. This is some great stuff. Maybe tell the group how they can learn more about Polyport, and just kind of get better educated, and hopefully contact you for their companies who need this protection.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, Dean, no worries. You can pull up the last slide. So we are going into launch in the next couple of weeks, and as Dean mentioned, just a pre-launch offer for you guys, the GBS family. If you want to go to the link below, which will also be sent out in the email, we're offering a 20% discount off of Polyport. There are limited spots available, so please go there, sign up. We will also, send you guys an email so you can get in touch with us. We're happy to hop on follow-up demos with you all. We really want to hear from you, and we want to make sure that we are able to support your needs and work together in a partnership fashion.
Well, Chloe, thank you so much. I hope everybody heard that. GBS group, please reach out to Chloe and Partha. If you'd like your own personal demo for your company, they'll be happy to connect with you. And Chloe, thank you very much for offering our group that discount and getting them in on the ground floor. We really appreciate that. We really appreciate what you guys are doing. Hopefully, I'd like to get your commitment now. Here in the next couple months, we can have another webinar after your launch, and go over some things, talk to the group, ask you some more questions. We'd really like to stay in touch with you guys and see the wonderful job you guys are doing.
Absolutely. We'll do a customer use case on the next one. That'd be great.
Good idea. Good idea. Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks again to Chloe and Partha. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this webinar. Keep a lookout for the GBS email coming your way tomorrow with the link to the replay with the generous offer from Polyport and with the information to get in touch with our guests on some future questions or demos. It's a really amazing thing that they're offering our people. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to our guests. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next week or two on future webinars. Take care.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you, Dean.
Thanks, Partha. Thanks, Chloe. We'll see you guys.